FromSoftware has already confirmed DLC is on the way for Elden Ring multiplayer spin-off Nightreign, though we're yet to see a release date beyond Q4 2025. That old chestnut. After its release last month, FromSoftware has added weekly challenges against Everdark Sovereigns, which will rotate for the rest of the month, along with balance adjustments. With this and the now promised Duos mode, the studio is dipping its toes into live service, though players are eagerly awaiting the forthcoming DLC for a big chunk of new content. At present, we don't know what the DLC will include beyond additional playable characters and bosses, as previously linked on the game's Steam page. Still, that leaves room for a bit of speculation and fantasizing, especially now the game has been released. What or who is missing from Nightreign? What sort of complementary additions might FromSoftware have in store? Let's have a wee chat about that, shall we, eh? First up, let's address what we do know from that leaked information. The DLC will have additional playable characters. The base game has 8 Nightfarers who loosely relate to the typical starting classes of a Souls game: Knight, Rogue, Mage, etc. So what's missing? There are perhaps 2 obvious omissions: the Prophet and the Wretch. While existing Nightreign characters are capable of faith magic, at present the game doesn't have a character focused solely on the school of spells. Alongside damage dealing, faith magic is focused on healing and buffs, which would make for an interesting prophet-esque support class, be it a white mage or paladin. Such a character would certainly add to the cooperative lineup, but may make solo play tricky. Or you could just get some pals, it's not hard. As for the Wretch, they're something of a low-level blank slate from which to build a character. If Nightreign introduced a Nightfarer of this type, it could potentially cherry-pick from the abilities of existing characters. We'd love to see this take the form of a mimic tier, able to morph into others. There is another option though. Nightreign's DLC could follow that of the base game and focus on Shadow of the Erdtree. That expansion introduced a number of new weapons, including explosive elemental perfumes and the whirling punches and kicks of the dryleaf arts. Of these, we'd love to see the latter turned into a martial artist or pugilist Nightfarer, focused on speed and close quarters combat. Playing Shadow of the Erdtree this way with extra bleed damage on your fists is an absolute blast. Throw in some dragon magic and you've basically got Bruce Lee, right? The second point to address is additional bosses. This could mean extra Night Lords, more on that in a minute, but also further field and night bosses. While Nightreign boasts a wealth of randomised boss encounters, there are still too many repeats. I know I'm tired of beating Freya and those tree sentinels again and again. Long term, the game needs more diversity in its menagerie of bosses to maintain interest in each run. There are already references to both Elden Ring and multiple Dark Souls games, so who's left to add in? Well, plenty to be honest. Malenia is the most shocking Elden Ring omission, in Nightreign being arguably its most iconic boss. Then again, Nightreign director Junya Ishizaki has stated before that story and lore were a central focus throughout development of Nightreign, and that would explain why no major godly story bosses from Elden Ring appear in the spin-off, as it would break from lore. Regardless, we'd love to see Malenia as an exception to that rule. She'd make for a terrifying invasion. Radahn would be another iconic addition, especially as it's possible to face him as a group in Elden Ring. In fact, we could picture him being a Night Lord for that reason, though FromSoftware probably doesn't want to repeat itself. Drawing again from the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion, the Divine Beast Dancing Lion would make a great candidate for a field boss. We already have the Golden Hippopotamus, after all. Perhaps Commander Gaius or the Putrescent Knight could make an appearance as mounted alternatives. Although I doubt anyone's mounting someone called the Putrescent Knight. Then there are the bosses taken from the Dark Souls games, of which there are plenty to choose from. From the first Dark Souls, Artorias is certainly a popular choice among the fanbase, though we've already got his armour as a costume for Welder. Sif would be a great option, though is arguably too similar to the Tricephalous Night Lord. As a legendary stumbling block in the original game though, it's Ornstein and Smog we'd love to see included as a night boss, albeit with some souped up moves suitable for battling 3 players. Pontiff Sulivan would be a suitable addition from Dark Souls 3 with his twin fire and magic blades, while the Pursuer from Dark Souls 2 would be an intimidating presence chasing players out in the field. Ed, are you making these people up? Though not confirmed by FromSoftware, more Night Lords seems to be a given for the Nightreign DLC. There are currently 8, not including the Everdark Sovereign variants, but once these are beaten, there's not quite enough reason for players to return. With a bit of extra narrative purpose, there's no reason more Night Lords couldn't be added. However, as these bosses are all unique to Nightreign, it's hard to speculate on what any additions might be, leaving the developer with plenty of creative freedom. Each of the existing Night Lords relates to a specific element. Augur is sleep, Equilibrious Beast is madness, Fissure in the Fog is ice, for example. One element that's missing though is Scarlet Rot, which we'd argue absolutely should be represented. Caelid is one of the most remarkable areas from Elden Ring, even if it's treacherous to explore. What form this boss takes is anyone's guess, but we look forward to some sort of highly poisonous abomination, and not another dragon. FromSoftware has already done an excellent job with the Night Lords, balancing sweeping AoE attacks with more direct combos alongside some twists. The Equilibrious Beasts opening quiz, for instance. At times, Nightreign can feel more like an MMO raid in this respect, so we'd love to see the studio continuing to push the boundaries of its boss formula. Give us a Night Lord that manipulates the environment more, forcing us to use parkour mid-battle. Just please don't make it a cursed tree. I'm looking at you, Bed of Chaos. While Nightreign takes place on a static map, shifting Earth events can randomly spawn to shake up the environment. So far, there are 4 types that can occur. As one of the game's most innovative and dynamic features, why not throw in another? We've got some ideas as to what these could be. The first would be the Erdtree from Elden Ring. It would certainly be recognisable and different enough from the existing events and would rival the spectacle of the mountaintop or erupting crater as a giant tree sprouting from the ground. Plus, it would add some welcome verticality to the map to make use of Nightreign's parkour abilities and lack of fall damage. Hell, throw in a Millennia fight while you're at it and give us the ability to regain health with each hit as a reward. The second idea once again would follow the logic of basing the DLC on the gorgeously horrifying Shadow of the Erdtree. Give us a shifting Earth event based on the Land of Shadow, filled with ghostly gravestones and wandering furnace golems. Perhaps that could morph into the bright blues of the Cerulean coast, the lush temples of the ancient ruins, or even the cursed abyssal woods. Gaining extra buffs through Scadutree fragments for defeating bosses here would also be a fun nod to the expansion's leveling system. Lastly, considering the various regions of Elden Ring, how about expanding the underground of Nightreign's map? So far we've only got a couple of winding caverns which feel underutilised, but imagine if this expanded into that twinkling night sky of the Siofra River, one of the most beautiful areas of the base game. There, the encroaching storm would force us deeper into that pit of twilight, where we could face a version of Mohg, Lord of Blood, to tick off another missing status effect, bleed damage. Look, the dream scenario here is FromSoftware ties an entire Bloodborne themed DLC alongside the release of a remaster, but we all know that's never going to happen. Sony owns the rights and Nightreign is multi-platform, it's just a pipe dream. Still, it is fun to dream, and fans would be ecstatic to see the game represented further beyond some obviously coded costume options. Give us an invading Father Gascoigne in the graveyards of Limveld. Give us night boss battles against Vicar Amelia or Ludwig or Orphan of Kos. Give us a Hunter Nightfarer with a pistol and a whip, and a shifting Earth event into the dreaded spires of Yharnam. Give us a multiplayer game with sexy vampires thirsting for blood, with jetpacked robots and dinosaur transformations, with menacing frogs boasting giant breasts, with a disturbing world we can explore with our friends on the go, or just give us Dustbloods, I guess. Whatever happens, FromSoft fans are eating good, right? We're eating good!
Want to boost your game collection and get a great selection of titles every month? Well, now you can with Humble Choice. Every month you get a hand-picked mix of awesome PC games, and this month's lineup is now live. Running through to August the 5th, you can grab Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, Demon Ex Machina, Death's Door, Cat Quest 3, and much more. Whether you're building your backlog or discovering something new, now is the perfect time to pick up these fan favourites. And don't forget that every purchase helps a good cause, with this month's Humble Choice membership supporting Covenant House. Get a curated mix of PC games every month, all for just £8.99 a month. Skip a month or cancel any time and know that 5% of your membership goes to charity. So if you love discovering great games and doing a little good while you're at it, check out Humble Choice today.